Douluo Dalu Volume 2, Chapter 12, Disorder-Splitting Windhammer Method. Part 1. The two entrance gate guards appeared to be 20 years old or so. The spirit power fluctuating on their bodies was not at all distinct, feeling as if neither had reached even spirit master level. It looked like Nuoding City indeed was remote. From the spirit hall's level it could be seen that this city was of no importance in Tiandu Empire. Uncle, greetings. I am a Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy first-year student. Teacher told me to come here to measure spirit grade. Tang San indicated the school uniform he wore, speaking to the gate guard. With a look at the Nuoding Academy insignia Tang San wore, the two guards both subconsciously revealed an envious light in their eye. The guard who spoke first said, "It turns out to be like this, then go inside." Reaching the first floor reception hall, look for Spirit Grandmaster Ma Xiu Nuo. He can help you. Thank you, Tang San replied, and hurriedly walked inside Spirit Hall. The two guards' envious gazes followed him as he entered Spirit Hall. One of them said, "Originally, if I could gain admittance to Nuoding Academy, maybe right now I could become a spirit master." Hey, Nuoding Academy should have its own means to test spirit power, only coming here to us when advancing. Why did this child come running to our Spirit Hall? Who knows? No matter, this however old child, perhaps it's his teacher letting him come with some message, and can't speak clearly. The 20-meter high dome has a certain kind of atmosphere. Just as Tang San walked into the Spirit Hall, he was immediately influenced by this kind of vast grandeur. The dome of the entire hall was completely covered with murals. In each and every little square was painted a variety of spirit depictions. On the bottom glittered brilliant gold, giving people a feeling of both gold and jade in glorious splendor and unadorned simplicity. Spirit Hall had all around huge crystal windows, the sunlight passing through the crystal windows refracting onto the murals, golden light glittering, giving people even more of a dazzling and stunning feeling. Reception Hall. Where was the reception hall? Influenced by the atmosphere of the hall, Tang San began searching for the destination of this trip. Not many people were within Spirit Hall, and around were only some servants cleaning. Since Tang San did not know how to find the reception hall, when he was preparing to approach some people to ask, he saw an acquaintance. Precisely that spirit grandmaster who assisted him in spirit awakening, lone wolf spirit possessing Su Yuntao. Tang San quickly stepped up to him. Right now together with Su Yuntao was a female spirit master, her stature tall and slender but well developed, facial features also counting among beauties. Two people talking and laughing, not taking the least bit notice of this tiny Tang San approaching. "Grandmaster Su Yuntao," Tang San called out. Su Yuntao at this discovered his arrival, the female spirit master at his side making a surprised sound, saying, "How come our Spirit Hall still has such a small child? What noble's son has come to our Spirit Hall to undergo spirit awakening?" Su Yuntao's eyes also could not identify Tang San. After all, there were truly too many children undergoing his spirit awakening, and also Tang San's current style of dress was no longer in such dire straits as before. "You are." Seeing Su Yuntao's uncertain expression, Tang San hurriedly explained, "Grandmaster Su Yuntao, I'm Tang San. The last time you in Holy Spirit Village awakened that blue-silver grass spirit, innate full spirit power Tang San. So it turns out to be you. Why are you running here?" People with innate full spirit power were after all easy to remember, and Su Yuntao immediately recalled Tang San. Tang San said, "Teacher let me come to Spirit Hall to undergo advancement appraisal, and in addition test spirit power rank." Su Yuntao was shocked. "You already obtained the first spirit ring. How fast? This uniform is Nuoding Academy's, worthy of being Nuoding City's best academy. The teachers truly take responsibility." Su Yuntao's companion was seemingly somewhat dissatisfied over being neglected. "Yuntao, aren't you going to introduce me?" Su Yuntao noticed his companion was seemingly somewhat annoyed, and hastily fawning said, "Cici, this is the child I mentioned to you with innate full spirit power. It's too bad his spirit is blue-silver grass. Otherwise the future prospects could be boundless." He currently already obtained a spirit ring, so is also considered a member of Spirit Masters. I will trouble you to wait here for me a moment. I will go see. He reaches Grandmaster Ma Xiu Nuo at the reception hall. Just when Cece heard Su Yuntao speak of Tang San's innate full spirit power, her eyes clearly lit up for a moment, but as she heard Tang San, who had this innate full spirit power, unexpectedly had blue silver grass spirit, the pleasant surprise on her face became a touch disdainful. Nodding, she said, "You go, I'll wait here for you." "Thank you." The impression Su Yuntao gave Tang San was still not wrong, and should be considered in Spirit Hall a conscientious attendant. Su Yuntao brought Tang San along the side, climbing a flight of stairs to the Spirit Hall's second floor, reaching the second floor landing. Here Tang San could see was enclosed by rooms, and from here one also could directly see the first floor hall. With no need to ask, this should be Spirit Hall's office area. Su Yuntao was obviously impatient to go accompany Cece, bringing Tang San with lightning speed to reach the door of a room, and without knocking, pushed the door and entered. "Who is this? Ah, how bold." A somewhat hoarse voice resounded from within the room. This was a well-lit office, and behind a spacious desk sat an elderly man, in neat and tidy Spirit Master dress, along with the standard three swords symbol, showing he was a Spirit Grandmaster level Battle Spirit Master. "So it's Yuntao, why are you kids so rash?" For Spirit Master's cultivation one must concentrate one's attention, with a steady disposition. Otherwise, you will come to resemble me, somehow unable to advance past the 30th rank threshold. Su Yuntao, somewhat grumbling, said, "Grandmaster Ma Xiu Nuo, don't be long-winded. This child has come to undergo advancement appraisal. I'll trouble you with it." Su Yuntao's relationship with this old Spirit Master was clearly very good, as the old Grandmaster chuckled. Just as his gaze dropped to Tang San, he couldn't help but be somewhat astonished. "Yuntao, are you certain this child has come to undergo advancement appraisal and not spirit awakening?" Part 2. Su Yuntao said with a wry smile, "Of course I'm certain. This child's spirit was awakened by me. He is that child I mentioned to you with innate full spirit power, whose spirit was blue silver grass. He already obtained a spirit ring, therefore I'll trouble you. Cece is still waiting for me, so I'll leave first." Finished speaking, patting Tang San's shoulder, he hastily walked out. Looking at Su Yuntao's departing back, the old Spirit Master Ma Xiu Nuo couldn't help but shake his head, another youngster with his head turned by love. "It's a pity, Cece doesn't suit him at all. That girl's heart is too big, how can you shackle her?" Tang San stood before Ma Xiu Nuo's desk, hearing Ma Xiu Nuo mutter to himself in his heart, slightly impatient, "Hello, Grandmaster Ma Xiu Nuo." Ma Xiu Nuo smiled slightly, looking at Tang San, saying, "Child, no need to call me Grandmaster. I cannot be counted as some Grandmaster. You just call me Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo. This year I'm 81 years old. Going by age, calling me equal to your grandfather should be no problem." The old man's kind and affable voice immediately increased Tang San's good impression of him, and hastily again called, "Hello, Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo." Ma Xiu Nuo smiled slightly, saying, "Come, I'll bring you to undergo advancement appraisal. You are a very polite child. It's a pity, spirit being blue silver grass." While speaking, Ma Xiu Nuo led his apparent pseudo-grandson, pulling Tang San by the hand to leave the office, walking along the second floor landing towards the inner side of Spirit Hall. Just as they reached the end of the landing, 3 lofty vaulted doors appeared before Tang San. Ma Xiu Nuo said with a slight smile, "Here is the actual spirit testing room for undergoing advancement appraisal. Come, child." Speaking, he pushed open the leftmost door, bringing Tang San to walk inside. Entering this room, Tang San had a kind of particular feeling. In his body, mysterious heaven skills internal strength was moving slightly as if following a kind of peculiar rhythm. This room was very wide, and also very tall, as much as 200 square meters, and an immense window provided ample lighting. Tang San immediately found the cause affecting his internal strength. On all 4 walls, All around were inset uncountable fist-sized black rocks, looking like the material should be the same as what Su Yuntao originally used for spirit awakening. On the floor was depicted an enormous token tiles symbol, a long sword pointing down, pointing right at the gate entrance. This symbol was like the one mounted outside Spirit Hall. Grandmaster Ma Xiu Nuo saw Tang San taking notice of the pattern on the floor, and said with a slight smile, "We here are the lowest rank Spirit Hall, also known as a branch Spirit Hall. On the continent, even if it is the smallest city, they all have Spirit Hall on the same scale as ours. Above branch halls are child Spirit Halls, and again a level higher is Lord Spirit Hall. Reaching the level of Lord Spirit Hall, they are all placed in great cities. In the two imperial capitals, there are fourth-ranked Saint Spirit Halls. The fifth level is Papal Hall, there is our Spirit Hall's most sublime place. Above Papal Hall, there is only the legendary Douluo Consecration Hall. Only a Spirit Master reaching Douluo rank can have qualifications to enter there, and it is also the final destination of Spirit Masters possessing Spirit Hall registered rank above Douluo. It is the place all Spirit Masters long for. The 6 kinds of level of Spirit Hall which Ma Xiu Nuo spoke of happened to correspond to the 6 kinds of signs Grandmaster spoke of. Tang San in his heart already understood this. "Thank you for telling me about these, Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo. Can we begin?" Ma Xiu Nuo smiled, and said, "The youngsters today, temperament is all impatient like that. Very well, then we will begin now. Give your spirit free play, release your spirit ring." Tang San walked over to stand in the center of the symbol, raising his right hand, with complete concentration and calm breath. Mysterious heaven skill internal strength combined with blue-silver grass to produce a warm current slowly rising from the center of his palm. Thick and sturdy blades of blue-silver grass swarmed out, within an eye blink already hanging down on the floor, the bright 100-year Datura snake spirit ring rising from under Tang San's feet, centered on his body, moving up and down. Ma Xiu Nuo at first wore a mild smile. When he saw the blue spirit grass surging out from Tang San's hand, his expression already became stunned. This is blue-silver grass. In Tang San's eyes glimmered a faint blue light. This was the characteristic effect of using blue-silver grass spirit. Is there a problem? Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo. Ma Xiu Nuo rubbed his eyes. Certainly he had not seen wrong. Right now, his attention shifted to the yellow spirit ring on Tang San's body. 100-year spirit ring, it's actually a 100-year spirit ring. No wonder, this great change could occur even in blue-silver grass. "Child, I still do not know what your name is. I'm called Tang San." Ma Xiu Nuo exhaled a long breath, calming the agitation in his heart. "I can confirm, you have a pretty good tutor at Nuoding Academy. However, Nuoding's Academy's tutor's ability to help you accomplish hunting a 100-year spirit beast is already very difficult. It's too bad blue-silver grass growth potential is too poor. Speaking otherwise, perhaps you truly could become a mighty spirit master. After all, your spirit has just now only been awakened for several months' time." Ma Xiu Nuo picked up a yellow crystal ball from a table to the side and walked over in front of Tang San. "Infuse your spirit power within. Let me have a look at what level you have reached. According to theory, you should be 11th. Ma Xiu Nuo's 1 rank word had still not been spoken, as the crystal ball he placed in Tang San's hand already shone progressively brighter with a yellow misty radiance. The radiance could not be considered very powerful, but it was extremely clear. This is 13th ranked spirit power. Ma Xiu Nuo looked at Tang San a little bit as if seeing a little monster. Could it be because the spirit ring itself is powerful, incidentally increasing spirit power? But it still should not skip 2 ranks. Child, could you tell me, your spirit ring was hunted from what spirit beast? Part 3. Tang San, without holding back, said, "It was a Datura snake." Ma Xiu Nuo was greatly shocked. No wonder. Unexpectedly, it's the among lower-level spirit beasts most troublesome Datura snake. Even is a 100-year Datura snake, so that's why it has this kind of effect. No, not right. "Ah, your spirit is from the plant system. How can it use an animal system spirit ring?" "Child, you can't lie. That boss CO before was after all only a child. Regarding spirits his understanding still could not be thorough, but this Ma Xiu Nuo who had worked as attendant at Spirit Hall for several tens of years, regarding spirit ring rules he was quite clear, at once becoming aware of the crux. Tang San shook his head, saying, "Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo, I'm not lying at all. Why can't plant system spirits use animal system spirit rings? Under certain conditions, this can be carried out. My teacher calls it the spirit mimicry principle." Ma Xiu Nuo's expression changed greatly. "May I ask, who is your teacher?" Tang San said, "Everyone calls him Grandmaster." "Grandmaster, is it that Grandmaster who once published the Spirit 10 Great Core Competencies, and afterwards was expelled from Spirit Hall? He's unexpectedly in Nuoding City." Hearing Ma Xiu Nuo's words, Tang San only now learned that Grandmaster unexpectedly had come from Spirit Hall, for a moment did not know how he should reply. Ma Xiu Nuo's expression suddenly became serious. "Tang San, would you be willing to join Spirit Hall?" Tang San was dumbfounded for a moment. "Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo, am I not already registered in Spirit Hall?" Ma Xiu Nuo shook his head, saying, "No, this is different. Registering at Spirit Hall is a matter the overwhelming majority of spirit masters will do, thus obtaining the national stipend. But joining Spirit Hall means becoming Spirit Hall's exclusive spirit master. Spirit master cultivation is also carried out by directly entering a Spirit Hall special institution." Tang San shook his head, saying, "That probably is impossible. I have already started studying at Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy." Ma Xiu Nuo sighed, saying, "Indeed it is a step late, considering our Spirit Hall without justification can't force people away from the academy. Forget about it. This is all to blame on that kid Su Yuntao. He originally should have taken you directly to Spirit Hall. Perhaps Grandmaster also would not consent you joining Spirit Hall, after all." Tang San smiled slightly, and said, "Do not speak like this. If I had to come to Spirit Hall, maybe I could not obtain such a good spirit ring. What do you say, Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo?" Ma Xiu Nuo was dumbfounded for a moment, smiling said, "What you say is true. Well, your advancement review survey is concluded. Starting from now, you are a Heaven Do Empire honored spirit master. Be well received in the ranks of spirit masters. Hereafter you every month can rely on the badge issued you in a moment to draw a stipend at Spirit Hall. A spirit master's stipend is every month 1 gold spirit coin. When you reach spirit grandmaster level, the stipend will become 10 gold spirit coins. Regarding the matter with an animal spirit ring used on a plant spirit, I will as quickly as possible report to a higher authority. Thank you." When Tang San left Spirit Hall, within his 24 moonlit bridges he already had a Spirit Hall specially forged badge. The badge was round, on the back was carved his name, and on the front was carved 2 intertwined brambles, symbolizing spirit master level. Even Tang San, who was descended from a blacksmith, couldn't at all see what metal had been used to forge the badge. After Spirit Hall, Tang San quickly ran in the direction of Nuoding Academy, following Ma Xiu Nuo's directions, and this time taking a shortcut, he could cut down on the time by at least half. When he in a moment would reach the academy, suddenly, Tang San heard a familiar sound. His pace subconsciously coming to a stop. Ding dang, ding dang, ding dang. A hammer symbol, a large somewhat rough building, from inside a rhythmic beating was heard. This was precisely a smithy from looking at the outside. This extent of this smithy was much bigger than Tang San's home, having not a few visitors coming and going. The smithy, Tang San could not help but recall his father's words. Tang Hao once said to him, to later let him find work at a smithy to pay for his livelihood. Only, right now having to do working students' work, did he still have time to come here to work? From growing up in a smithy, concerning the occupation of blacksmith, Tang San could be considered as having some attachment, keenly looking at the smithy, then running off towards the academy. For Grandmaster's body to quickly recover, Tang San used the money Grandmaster gave him to buy some food from the dining hall and bring it back, accompanying Grandmaster and eating together. Grandmaster right now could already walk, and told him he need not look after him, sending him for these days first to regular classes. Moreover, to take a look at that book Grandmaster gave him. Leaving Grandmaster's room, Tang San returned to the working students' dormitory. This time room 7 wasn't again deserted. The working students were basically all there, speaking about something with dancing eyebrows and radiant faces. "Little San, you're back." Xiao Wu was sitting leaning back in bed. Of course, her back was leaning on Tang San and her currently common quilt. "Xiao Wu, bring me to the place we should sweep. I'll keep my promise. Starting from today, give the sweeping assignment to me." Abiding by promises was the foundation of manners. This bit Tang San all along did very well. Xiao Wu darted a look at him, saying, "Still sweeping something? Ah, how cheap for you. Hereafter all need not sweep." Tang San was taken aback, and said, "Why?" Xiao Wu a little smugly said, "Do you think this Xiao Wu Ji does something for no reason? That fellow Xiao Chen Yu is arranging for people to do our working student work. Afterwards we need not do it, but still as before take the pay. You count for a lot of strength, this time you come cheap." Although Tang San stood by his promises, he also absolutely was not an inflexible person. Chuckling, he said, "This turned out pretty good. Hereafter you are the entire Nuoding Academy's Xiao Wu Ji." Xiao Wu sat upright, hugging her knees, little face flushed pink and curiously looking at Tang San, saying, "What was the result like of your going for Spirit Hall appraisal?" Tang San said, "Done. I'm right now already a Spirit Master." Part 4. The other working students around revealed an envious light in their eyes. Of course, it was only envy, nothing more. The scene today of Tang San's strength when defeating Xiao Chen Yu was deeply branded in their minds, especially Wang Sheng, who admired him endlessly, reaching the conclusion that even after obtaining a spirit ring he still might not be able to win. Xiao Wu, full of curiosity, asked, "What good is becoming a spirit master? It can't be just getting some empty title." Tang San chuckled, saying, "There are still some benefits. At least in the future I can eat some good things. Spirit masters get a 1 gold spirit coin stipend every month. 1 gold spirit coin. This much." Xiao Wu by now also understood the importance of money, even though Xiao Chunyu already said in the future the working students' food expenses were all on him. Having money in her hand was always better than other people. While speaking, Xiao Wu leapt up off the bed, excitedly running out. "Xiao Wu, where on earth are you going?" "I'm going to register at Spirit Hall. 1 gold coin can buy so many delicious things." "Ah. Then there's no need to hurry like this." "How can I not hurry? Have you forgotten today is the end of the month? Going now, including next month, maybe I can get 2 gold spirit coins. But, you could at least put on shoes before going." Xiao Wu eventually still left energetically for Spirit Hall. Tang San was secretly laughing in his heart. Perhaps the Grandpa Ma Xiu Nuo would return from shock. After all, Xiao Wu would be a genuine animal spirit battle spirit master. Comparing innate qualifications, this must be much better than his bogus full spirit power. Not needing to do working student work again, Tang San's mind immediately returned to thoughts of that clear and melodious beating sound. Village Elder Jack once said, later on the Intermediate Spirit Master Academy would have a not small fee. He should also trade for very many things for home, and so having many little ways to earn money would naturally be good. And also, this was father's requirement. Still more importantly, only at Smithy would he have the chance to increase his armaments. As a result of forging the sleeve dart with his own hands, Tang San discovered, when a hidden weapon was completely made by himself personally, the sense of familiarity regarding the hidden weapons would become even more powerful. "Tang San, I apologize for the matter that day. You won't still take offense, right?" Just in the middle of Tang San's pondering, Wang Sheng came up to his side, speaking with a sincere expression. Seeing Wang Sheng with a simple and honest smile, Tang San shook his head, saying with a slight smile, "Offense to what? I've long since forgotten." Wang Sheng Daj, "I must go out a while, I'll probably come back in the evening." Wang Sheng nodded, and said, "You go." "Right. Congratulations on becoming Spirit Master," Tang San said with a slight smile. "It won't be long, and you'll also make a breakthrough." Once again leaving Nuoding Academy, Tang San felt a little tired. After today returning with Grandmaster, still without a proper rest, he also fought some with Xiao Chen Yu's group. Even though his mysterious heaven skill already entered the second tier, a tired feeling still appeared. However, going to the smithy was still an important matter. At worst he would just start work from tomorrow again. What feared the most Tang San right now was everyone not accepting him, this little blacksmith. Arriving at the smith, Tang San walked inside straight away. Entering, the heat blew in his face. Any smithy was like that, of course, but at Tang San's home, that shabby smithy, the temperature was much lower than here. Entering, was a wide hall. On the right side of the hall hung a variety of well-forged iron tools. Here were not only farming implements, but further all kinds of armor and weapons. After all, in this world spirit masters were only a small minority. And the price of the weapons naturally had to be much higher than farming tools. Seeing these weapons, Tang San couldn't help but recall the work he did in his previous life. At that time, Tang Sect manufactured mechanism-type hidden weapons could be said to be Tang Sect's pillar of income. Tang Sect had a lot of rules. Even though they traded mechanism-type hidden weapons outside, they also only sold non-poisonous and some ordinary goods. Genuinely secret law was impossible to take out. Even though it was like that, Tang Sect produced hidden weapons were still in short supply in Jianghu. If he in this world also started a hidden weapon manufacturing mill, what kind of income could it bring? "Little friend, why ever have you come here? For buying things call over your family's adults. Quickly get out, here is dangerous." Right in the middle of Tang San's deep thoughts, a loud and clear voice interrupted his pondering. Looking up at a bare-chested burly fellow looking straight at him, swarthy skin over bulging lumps of muscle, looking extremely solid, in his hand holding a large-sized forging hammer, his forehead completely covered by sweat. "Uncle, greetings. I thought to come inquire whether or not here needs apprentices." Tang San's young, clear and melodious voice, even though the smithy was extremely noisy with beating steel and iron, still was clearly heard by everyone. The majority of smiths stopped work with hands raised, looking at Tang San, revealing somewhat good-intentioned smiles. Blacksmith could be considered the humblest vocation. All were people with impoverished backgrounds, relying on physical strength and craftsmanship to eat. Although they appeared rough, the majority were extremely good and honest. The big fellow who spoke before measured Tang San up and down a few times, and said, "Little friend, don't go in for it. Quickly leave. Here isn't safe. Is your style of dress like a blacksmith's appearance? Moreover, our place also doesn't take in apprentices this small. You would probably be unable to raise the forging hammer." Ha ha. Tang San realized that he still wore his neat and tidy school uniform. Yeah, how could he be regarded as a blacksmith wearing this? "Excuse me, uncle, I'll be back in a moment." Finished speaking, he turned and ran outside. The smithy was very close to Nuoding Academy. When Tang San once again returned, he had already changed into his original clothes, all over big patches covering small patches. This style of dress, even if eating hundreds of meals, there was no need for makeup. Entering, Tang San did not look for someone else, again looking for that previous uncle. "Uncle, do you see that I like this can be regarded as an apprentice?" The big fellow looked at Tang San all over wearing 100 stitches, and was immediately stunned a moment. "Little friend, you aren't making fun of me, right?" Tang San honestly said, "Of course not. Uncle, it's like this. I'm a Nuoding Academy working student. Every day I have spare time in the afternoon. My father was a village blacksmith. From little I studied forging with father, and thought to come to you here to earn my meals." Part 5. Hearing Tang San's words, the big fellow's expression immediately softened. They all came from poor families. so in their hearts they immediately felt great sympathy. Moreover, this child still attended Nuoding Academy. The big fellow simply said, "Very well. If you want to come, then come. There are some odd jobs to do for us. You can always carry tea and hand out water. However, wages won't be too high, but food can be guaranteed." "How's that?" "That's all right, no problem." Tang San rejoiced, and hurriedly replied. The blacksmiths all smiled good-naturedly towards Tang San. The big fellow glared at the bunch, saying, "What are you looking at? Don't you need to work? Hurry up, tonight I'll invite everyone to drink ale." Hearing the big fellow's words, the blacksmith's enthusiasm immediately greatly increased. Each and every one swung their hammers and continued their work. The big fellow lifted the forging hammer in his hand, forging pig iron before him to one side, saying to Tang San, "I'm called Shi San, Shi of Rock, you can call me Uncle San. This smithy is my inheritance. Hereafter you come to work for me here. I'll guarantee every day's midday meal and supper, and give you 10 copper spirit coins, that's also a silver spirit coin. If you're efficient, I'll give you a bit more." "Oh, that's right. What's your name?" "Uncle San, I'm called Tang San." "Tang San, ha ha, good. Both our names have a San, seems this truly is predestined. What village did you come from?" Tang San said, "I'm from Holy Spirit Village." Shi San said, "You just now said you studied forging with your father from childhood. You are this small, what could your father have taught you?" Tang San said, "Of course forging. Uncle San, you must not see me as small, but I have the strength, forging pig iron is no problem." Shi San laughed loudly. "Brothers, our new little assistant says he also can forge." "You believe it?" The blacksmiths immediately roared with laughter. Tang San looked like a 6 or 7-year-old. This was even after obtaining the first spirit ring when his stature grew somewhat. From looking at his outward appearance, who could believe he could forge? Being looked down on by people always felt bad. Tang San said, "Uncle San, I really can forge. If you don't believe it, you let me have a go." Shi San stopped his work at hand, leaning the forging hammer on the ground. "Like this then, if you can pick up my hammer, I'll believe you." As he spoke, he passed the hammer handle to Tang San. Because the hammer head was in contact with the ground, he did not fear Tang San would be unable to hold it up and be smashed. "Uncle San, you are ridding this piece of pig iron of impurities. I'll help you accomplish it well." Tang San took the forging hammer handle from Shi San. With Shi San's inborn extraordinary strength, this forging hammer he used was clearly bigger compared to other people's. Compared to Tang San's height, it was taller by half a chi or so. Right now, he again had become the focus of the entire smithy. The blacksmiths watching him all appeared to have laughing expressions. But they very quickly stopped smiling, because Tang San already lifted that forging hammer, and also was smoothly raising it before him. Compared to ordinary forging hammers, its weight it was 30% more. Tang San judged as the forging hammer parted from the ground. Although somewhat heavy, considering him before he obtained a spirit ring, he still could use it with an effort, let alone right now. Seeing Tang San slowly lift the forging hammer, Shi San was also staring wide-eyed, gasping in admiration. Good strength, worthy of the son of a blacksmith. Tang San, with eyes brilliant, stared fixedly at the pig iron in the furnace, breathed out loudly, and fiercely swung Shi San's forging hammer. Hey, soles firmly gripping the ground, lower legs abruptly generating force, strength passing up, Tang San's body half turning, and the huge forging hammer swung completely around obliquely, heavily striking on that chunk of pig iron. The great clanging sound already made the blacksmith's smiling expressions become stunned. Immediately following, in pace with the iron hammer's rebound, Tang San quickly made a turn. The iron hammer in his hands once again swung, again making a loud sound, the iron hammer compared to before falling even more heavily on the red-hot pig iron. "Uncle San, I'll trouble you to help me draw the bellows. The temperature is not enough," Tang San said quickly, his third blow again already swinging up. This time, the forging hammer's power was even more violent. bringing a WUWU wind sound. Shi San was still an old blacksmith, and naturally understood the consequence of insufficient temperature, and hurriedly squatted to one side, pulling up the bellows. The following scene made a lifelong impression on the blacksmiths present. That heavy forging hammer seemed to be alive in Tang San's hands. It drew one circle after another in the air, imbued with rhythm, beating sounds just like a violent storm acting within the smithy. Nobody paid attention to Tang San's both hands that already became shining white like jade. Accompanying the clanging sounds, that chunk of pig iron continuously pulsated under the forging hammer. Shi San on one side was drawing the bellows with full strength, on one side closely staring at Tang San swinging the hammer. His expression was already beyond shocked. The other smiths all knew Shi San's hammer was very heavy, and naturally knew the difficulty of continuously beating. Especially being like Tang San this kind of heavy hammer, it was even more difficult in the extreme. Clang! The last beat completed, Tang San brought the forging hammer to its former place after turning 2 circles, diffusing the hammer's momentum. The big hammer head downward, again dropping to the ground, causing the smithy and blacksmith's hearts simultaneously a moment of shock. 27 blows, a full 27 continuously sustained beats, before Shi San's forging that chunk of pig iron had not changed its appearance an iota, but was now reduced to a circle. Tang San doing this, Shi San knew he could also do himself, but would an entire day's time. One must know, Shi San had formerly been a blacksmith for 15 years' time already. Seeing the slightly panting and forehead-appearing sweaty Tang San, Shi San stuttered, that couldn't have been disorder-splitting windhammer method. Among forging arts, the most powerful continuous forging art, disorder-splitting windhammer method. What's that? Tang San said uncertainly. Shi San's cheeks were already flushing red because of excitement. What is called disorder-splitting windhammer method is a kind of continuous beating forging method, leveraging force, able to most perfectly bring out his blacksmith's physical strength. It is said the most awesome smiths can continuously swing 81 times, directly having a chunk of pig iron take on the appearance they want. Most importantly, disorder-splitting windhammer method is the most powerful technique for driving out impurities in metal. I still thought it was lost long ago. I didn't expect to see it today in your hands. Douluo Dalu Volume 2, Chapter 13, Father's Message, Part 1. Was it truly disorder-splitting windhammer method? Before Tang San's eyes floated the dispirited figure of his father. Could it actually be said his father originally was an outstanding blacksmith? Uncle San, I also don't know whether this is disorder-splitting windhammer method. This is something father taught me. Shi San exhaled a long breath, then said with a big hearty smile, it looks as if, this time we picked up a treasure. The employment conditions just now are void. For the time being you first will be paid the same as everyone, every month 1 silver spirit coin. If business is good, you take an additional percentage. Just like this, Tang San formally became a member of Shi San's smithy, beginning to live a full life. The academy's curriculum certainly was not a necessary place to him. Grandmaster's instruction was much more useful than the academy teaches in relating basic theory. He also carefully read that book Grandmaster gave him. Just like he expected, the spirit power cultivation methods Grandmaster put forward were very similar to the internal strength cultivation movement routes. Of course, this after all was only Grandmaster's theoretical designs, and compared to genuine internal strength cultivation methods was still a certain distance apart, not to speak of Tang Sect's finely tempered mysterious heaven skill. Xiao Wu smoothly obtained the Spirit Master title, and after becoming the Academy's generally accepted Xiao Wu Ji, the working students' lives became relaxed and comfortable. Early morning every day, Tang San would take advantage of the newborn sunrise to cultivate his purple demon eye, in the morning attend regular classes, in the afternoon labor in the smithy, in the evening again listen to Grandmaster's instruction. At night cultivate mysterious heaven skill. It could be said that every day to him was absolutely full. At Shi San's smithy, Tang San only needed a very short time to gain everyone's approval. Shi San gave him the assignment of refining metal, and in the remaining free time, Tang San used some discarded bits and pieces to refine on his own, starting his great hidden weapon production undertaking. Of course, he was only producing some components in the smithy, genuinely assembling after returning to the academy. Xiao Wu, relying on her own tyrannical strength with Xiao Chen Yu's assistance, very quickly became approved as the entire Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy's student's boss, and compared to Tang San she passed the time very leisurely, sometimes even to the extent of not going to class. Tang San did not even see how she cultivated, but Xiao Wu's actual strength continuously elevated steadily. At Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy, one semester was 1 year's time. In the entire year students were not permitted to return home, but family members could come to visit. Tang San more than once expected his father to come, but until the end of the semester, still did not see a trace of Tang Hao. Fortunately his life was sufficiently full, and he did not have too much time to long for it. As for Spirit Hall, not long after Tang San underwent Spirit Master Review, Spirit Hall's people came to Nuoding Academy to look for Grandmaster. Grandmaster never told Tang San what they discussed, and Tang San also did not ask. But from Grandmaster's face compared to normal was much more smiling, and Tang San guessed the relationship between Spirit Hall and Grandmaster should have become a lot better. Xiao Wu, for tomorrow's holiday, will you return home? Tang San said to Xiao Wu while packing his luggage. 1 school year had passed, and he was finally able to return home and see his father. This afternoon at the smithy he had already asked Ji San for a leave of absence. Also specially bought a brand new forging hammer, intending to bring back to give to his father. Since Tang San joined Shi San's smithy, making the quality of the various kinds of weapons and equipment produced in the smithy rise 1 grade, business became better, and right now Tang San's wages already reached 5 silver spirit coins every month, equivalent to half a spirit master's stipend. Xiao Wu leaned on the bed, her eyes revealing some loneliness, entirely different from her usual liveliness. I'm not going home. Maybe, just stay at the academy. Tang San was dumbfounded a moment. All year, you won't return to see your family. Xiao Wu's eyes suddenly lit up, saying, Little San, your family isn't far from the academy, is it? Otherwise, I'll follow you to return and play. How about that? Anyway, Wang Sheng and Xiao Chen Yu are both going to participate in the Intermediate Spirit Master Academy examination. There's nobody to accompany me to play. Tang San smiled. After passing 1 year together, he could be considered as having some comparative understanding regarding Xiao Wu could. This little girl was lively and energetic, always appearing motivated by a desire to see the world in chaos. When acting gentle and soft, she somehow appeared like a lovely doll, but a moment later became a violent whirlwind. That Nuoding Xiao Wu Ji title of hers was exactly called in vain. In the entire academy, who knew how many students had already tasted bitterness from her? My family can be very poor, without anything good to entertain you. Xiao Wu, with both hands akimbo, and big eyes glaring at Tang San, said, Every month you saved so much of your stipend, so reluctant to spend, but still fear entertaining me. Tang San, wearing a slight smile, extended his right hand. Speaking of stipends, I suddenly recall, a certain person still appears to owe me 6 silver spirit coins. Xiao Wu was dumbfounded a moment, her fair and tender little face revealing some embarrassment. A stipend of 1 gold coin every month could definitely not be regarded as little. However, her spending was truly extravagant, if seeing something good coming back to buy it, not taking into account a bit whether or not it was useful. By now she long ago already had her own bedding, not having to share with Tang San. Never able to manage her finances, in a short time asking Tang San to lend spending money already became habit. Not exactly 6 silver coins. Wait for me to get the stipend to pay you. You still haven't said, if you after all are willing to let me come along with you. Tang San said with a slight smile. You want to go, then go. Only, my dad's temperament can be bad. Xiao Wu, not in the least fazed, said, Someone this lovely, your dad will happily approve of me. While speaking, still assuming a gentle and soft appearance, asking Tang San with blinking eyes. Other people might be fooled by her outward appearance, but Tang San had seen too many scenes of her true volcanic eruptions. He could not help but shake his head, still not a bit swallowing her cover. "You need not use your honey trap on me. Fortunately you will appear 7 years old. If a bit older, perhaps you truly would have a little fox spirit talent." Part 2. Fox Spirit. What's that? Xiao Wu, full of curiosity, asked. Tang San, smiling, said, "It's a kind of spirit beast turned into a demon, specializing in seducing men." Xiao Wu was stunned a moment. Her gaze at Tang San suddenly became somewhat strange. Between eye blinks, her mood abruptly became agitated. "You drop dead, daring to call me a fox spirit. I'll definitely fight you." While speaking, she, already bearing fangs and brandishing claws, leapt up from her bed, charging at Tang San. The other working students regarding this scene no longer wondered at the sight. The noise of fighting between Xiao Wu Ji and Tang San, to their point of view, long ago became accustomed to. If someday those two were not fighting several times, on the contrary, perhaps they instead would feel uneasy. Early the next day, as Tang San set out with that very bouncing and vivacious young girl at his side, wearing Nuoding Academy's uniform, leaving Nuoding City, and heading towards Holy Spirit Village. This past year, to Tang San's point of view, had been extremely rich, and also extremely satisfying. Breaking through Mysterious Heaven skill's first-tier bottleneck, under assiduous cultivation, Mysterious Heaven skill had made rapid progress. On the basis of his own calculations, by now he should already be reaching the upper middle second tier's strength. On the basis of spirit power calculations, he should have about 16th rank, approaching 17th rank. In the academy, people able to compare spirit power with him only had a Xiao Wu. Even though he never saw her cultivate, when the two compared spirit power, the difference was never far. Sometimes Tang San had the upper hand, sometimes he was reversely surpassed by Xiao Wu. Although both were children, to the two who refused to give in, exchanging points like this was hard to avoid. Just when starting, Xiao Chen Yu and Wang Sheng, these higher-grade students, occasionally joined in, but along with Tang San and Xiao Wu spirit power's lightning-fast rise, there were no people who again came to disturb them. One could ask, who would hope to become like a sandbag's existence? Therefore, although Xiao Wu was nominally the boss of Nuoding's students, in practice, when Xiao Chen Yu's group addressed Tang San, he was also called Little Sanji. When Tang San exchanged pointers with Xiao Wu, he always losing more than he won. Xiao Wu's fighting techniques emerged in an endless stream. Especially her soft skill gave people a kind of New Year cake-like feeling. If in circumstances where both sides did not draw support from spirit ring powers, Tang San was practically certain to lose. Even if using spirit rings, relying on blue-silver grass binding and paralyzing effects, the most he could accomplish when battling Xiao Wu was a draw. As for Tang San's secretly practiced hidden weapons, these were certainly not used when exchanging pointers. First was because the hidden weapon's killing power was too great, too easy to injure a person, and second, he was still hoping to temper his own close combat strength through exchanging pointers with Xiao Wu. Perhaps it was because of the two mutually acting as sparring partners, giving rise to an accelerating effect, but in respect to fighting, they advanced side by side. The academy's teachers were all already disinclined to be in charge of them, and in Nuoding, although Tang San and Xiao Wu were still only first years, they already became the academy's famous geniuses. Is it still far? Xiao Wu looked east, then gazed west, offhandedly asking, "We'll arrive soon. See that hilltop over there? Our Holy Spirit village is at the foot of the hill." About to arrive home, Tang San couldn't help his mood being somewhat excited. If not for the Nuoding Academy regulations, he would have returned to stay at home at night. Without the teacher making the rounds every day, maybe Tang San long ago would have returned home to look in on his father. Not meeting for a year. "Dad, are you still well?" Perhaps it was because of being an orphan in his last life. This life, Tang San all the more especially treasured that family love. touching 24 moonlit bridges at his waist. There he had brought the iron hammer for his father, brand new clothes, and even some bottles of pretty good wine. The little mountain village where he lived for 6 years was already in view. Not knowing why, in Tang San's heart a kind of indescribable feeling gradually appeared. If insisting on using words to describe it, then he would say, the feeling of having family was truly good. Even if that family only was him and his father. Very quickly, the two already walked into Holy Spirit Village. Tang San's home was at the edge of the village. Raising his hand to indicate the roof with that dilapidated sign, Tang San smiled at Xiao Wu and said, "Look, that's my home." Home before his eyes, Tang San's mood subconsciously became excited. Underfoot his steps increasing pace, 3 steps and 2 more and he reached the door of his home. The front door exactly alike as when he left certainly didn't matter. This was Tang Hao's habit all along. After all, this smithy did not have anything that could be stolen. "Dad, I'm back," Tang San excitedly shouted. Xiao Wu, from never having Tang San this excited, stood at his back looking at him somewhat curiously. In her impression, Tang San was a very gentle friend, usually not saying much, but always with a busy feeling, always having some matter to attend. Only in their exchanging of pointers could his serious side be seen. And even if seriously losing to her, one still never saw his angry or even agitated appearance. While calling, Tang San walked inside with quick steps. Everything seemingly had not changed. The smithy was still in turmoil, even more so compared to before he left, a hideous mess of things left all over, a broken, tattered and worn-out feeling, bringing Tang San even more familiarity. "Oh, little San, you're back." A mild voice rose. From inside a person walked out. Seeing him, Tang San couldn't help but be stunned. "Grandpa Jack, you also? Ah, then my dad." Walking out from inside was exactly Holy Spirit Village elder old Jack. On his face a somewhat wry smile, he handed over a paper in his hand to Tang San, saying, "You have a look, this is your father's message. Earlier I came to find him, originally thinking to have him and me go meet you, not thinking you would already have returned." A nervous feeling appeared in Tang San's heart. Hurriedly taking the paper old Jack held out and lowering his head to read. On the paper were only a few simple lines, handwriting somewhat sloppy, but concealing a bold and unconstrained spirit. Part 3. Little San, when this letter reaches you, I will have already left. Do not look for me, you will not be able to find me. Although you are still young, you have the strength to provide for yourself. A young falcon must first spread its wings on its own before soaring. You need not worry about me. In your nature is a great deal of your mother's delicacy. Dad is a useless person. You gradually grow up. Dad has to go get back some things that originally should have belonged to me. Inevitably one day, we two father and son will again see each other. I hope you become formidable, but I also do not hope you become formidable. You choose your own path. If one day you feel the Spirit Master vocation is not good, then return to Holy Spirit Village, and like me, work as a blacksmith. Do not miss me. Tang Hao, reading the letter in his hand, Tang San's entire person was already stunned, the joy filling his chest in an instant changing into helpless loss. Dad left. Dad, why must you leave? Old Jack saw Tang San in low spirits, and with a wry smile said, "Tang Hao, this fellow left without any warning. The day before yesterday I came to have him forge some farm tools. With him leaving like this, we must again find a blacksmith later. This fellow, truly too irresponsible." Tang San slowly returned from his absent-mindedness. "Grandpa Jack, you're saying, Dad would have left in only these 2 days?" Old Jack nodded. "Should have left in these 2 days. Little San, don't feel sorry. This kind of a father is unworthy of it. Come with Grandpa, we'll go to my home." Tang San silently shook his head, with the greatest care folding the letter in his hands, placing it in his bosom. "Thank you, Grandpa Jack, but my home is in this mess. I must decline and remain. I still have to put it in order at once." Old Jack was stunned a moment. He had not thought the very small Tang San unexpectedly would send him off. With a sigh, he said. Very well. Only, if you need anything, do not hesitate to come find me. With no choice but to shake his head, he turned towards the outside and left. As old Jack left, within the smithy remained only the two people Tang San and Xiao Wu. Tang San did not open his mouth, then began tidying up the messy room, clearing away the room's different things. Unusually, the ordinarily lively and energetic Xiao Wu right now kept silent, walking to Tang San's side, calmly helping him put various things away, and bringing scoops of fresh water from the water jar outside, helping him wipe the dirt within the room. Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy. Grandmaster was in his room reading. Little San having returned home, his heart was empty. Knowing him for a year's time, even though he never said so aloud, but his attachment to this child constantly deepened. Until this morning when Tang San left, he still hesitated whether to go to his home to have a look. Finally, Grandmaster still vetoed this notion of his. There were very many reasons, even to the extent that including himself was unable to explain clearly. Peng, peng, peng. At this time, a knocking sound suddenly rose. Grandmaster's brows knitted. Normally, besides Tang San, there were basically no people that would come here. Please come in. Grandmaster put down the book in his hand, speaking coolly. Opening the door, a large figure entered from outside. He wore a simple grey robe, messy black hair hanging loosely down to the shoulder, hoary face carved full of the vicissitudes of life, a pair of muddy eyes as if already like a candle guttering in the wind. His appearance didn't at all correspond to his 50 or so years of age. Hello, Grandmaster. The visitor's voice was deep and hoarse. No knowing why, when this person entered the door, Grandmaster's entire body subconsciously tensed, even unconsciously spreading spirit power all over his body. You are, slowly standing up. Grandmaster's eyes revealed some uncertainty. The grey-clad person coolly said, speaking of, we should not have met for 20 years, right? With this current appearance of mine, it's no wonder you do not recognize me. I'm Tang Hao. Tang Hao. Grandmaster's old well makes no waves expression suddenly changed greatly, eyes focusing in practically an instant, rigidly staring at this person before him, both hands clutching the table, fingers already becoming pale. You are Hao. Tang Hao waved his hand, stopping Grandmaster from speaking, coldly saying, past titles need not be brought up again. In those days, for however many reasons, other people would perhaps consider you as only a madman, but I know you are a persistent person. Grandmaster gradually calmed down, rigid face somewhat affected at once. It seems as if my conjecture was not mistaken, as expected you are Tang San's father. He already returned home, why would you be here? Tang Hao lowered his head, coolly saying, precisely because he returned home, I would be here. I know you accepted him as apprentice. As father, I should have come to see you long ago. I must leave, my only worry is just him, therefore, I hope to entrust little San to you. You must leave. Go where? He is your son. Grandmaster glared rigidly at Tang Hao, the expression in his eyes somewhat fierce. Tang Hao still had a cold appearance, he is still your disciple. I have to leave, there are very many matters that are necessary to attend to. Following me, he cannot obtain happiness. I have no other requests, his life, he must choose by himself. 10 years, I have already left this world for 10 years, by now he has already grown up, so I have some business that I have to deal with. Grandmaster drew a long breath. I do not know what happened to you, but I can see little San is very reluctant to part from you. You do not feel that this kind of departure is too cruel to him? Tang Hao coolly said. He decided on his own to walk an extraordinary path. Being together with me would be cruel to him. Well, I've said what I had to say, no matter when, please remember, he is my son. Having said this, Tang Hao waved his raised hand. A jet-black token tile dropped onto Grandmaster's desk with a clanking sound. The token tile was impressively similar to the one Grandmaster originally brought with Tang San to enter Spirit Hunting Forest, only, in this token tile's pattern were all 6. Part 4. Peng. The door closed. Tang Hao's large figure had already disappeared. Looking at the door, Grandmaster stood there for a long time without any movement. After a good while, he could slowly lower his head, gaze falling on that token tile. The corners of his mouth revealed a slight wry smile. I would not have thought. My idol unexpectedly already became like this. Sunlight slanting from the west, side by side in front of the smithy's door sat two petite figures. They were dressed in similar clothes, sitting quietly. The glow of the setting sun colored them faintly red, seemingly branding their bodies a golden red. The girl on the left inclined her head, looking at the boy, both hands poking her chin, wanting to say something, but she endured in the end. On the contrary, it was the boy who opened his mouth, in his hands holding a brand new forging hammer. Xiao Wu, thank you. Thank me for what? Xiao Wu, full of curiosity, asked. Thank you for keeping me company all along. Tang San lowered his head, looking at the ground underfoot, the expression in his eyes somewhat misted, also somewhat hazy, but in the end without tears falling. Xiao Wu giggled, pushing Tang San's shoulder with great force, nearly pushing over Tang San. Don't be gloomy. Your dad only left temporarily, that's all. Inevitably one day, you will meet again. Maybe, his leaving was only in order to let you grow even better, let you gain even more power. If you again became down like this, wouldn't it disappoint his efforts? Tang San's face revealed a trace of a wry smile. Maybe so, but why did he not let me see him again? Xiao Wu, did you know, Dad is my only family. Home without Dad is also no longer a home. Xiao Wu flung back her head, tossing her long scorpion braid in front. Without Dad, you still have me, this friend, right? If you absolutely want to find family, I wouldn't mind being your older sister. Quickly, let me hear you call me Xiao Wu Ji. Everyone calls me that, only you are an exception. Looking at Xiao Wu's lovely and smart appearance with that evening sunset glow illuminating her flushed little face, Tang San couldn't help but smile. Just when a person's heart was the weakest, having by his side a person for company was an extremely happy matter. If you want to become my little sister, I won't be opposed. I remember what was said. Although we're of the same year, it seems you compared to me must be a few months younger. I was born on the 1st month, you on the 8th month, correct? Don't imagine that's possible. I will only be the older sister. I'm unsuitable to be the younger sister. Xiao Wu angrily raised her hand to knock Tang San's head. Tang San's body in a flash had already leapt up, standing 3 meters in front of Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu, follow me onto the hill, I will show you some things. Tang San's expression was very earnest, seemingly like having decided on something. Xiao Wu also did not again play, on her little face revealing cleverness, nodding towards him. Tang San took the initiative and pulled Xiao Wu by her delicate hand, and ran for the small hill outside the village. The two's shadows under the illumination of the setting sun gradually lengthened on the ground. Tang San brought Xiao Wu continuously running to the hilltop before coming to a stop. Under conditions of fully pushing mysterious heaven skill, he could not help but pant slightly. Standing on the hilltop, Tang San faced the setting sun, both eyes already filled with purple. Xiao Wu, this is my former practice place. I am very seriously asking you a question, and I hope you can seriously answer me. Xiao Wu bit her lip. Don't you know, your current appearance is very like that old fogey at the academy. Tang San slowly turned around, seriously looking at Xiao Wu. Are you willing to be my little sister? I truly hope to be able to again have a family member. Xiao Wu was about to say something, but was stopped by Tang San. First listen to what I have to say. I have nothing. You have also seen my family's circumstances, and I am only descended from impoverished commoners. I cannot give you wealth and also cannot give you power. You also have innate full spirit power, but you and I are not alike. I can see your life's experiences should have some story. But I never asked, because I feared that our background's disparity is too great, and we could not even become friends. But I truly hope to be able to have a little sister like you. Although I am unable to give you what nobles possess, I can give you my promise. I will always protect my little sister, will not let her come to the slightest harm. Seeing teardrops glimmer in Tang San's eyes, Xiao Wu's eyes gradually reddened. If one day, there are very many people wanting to kill me, and you are unable to defeat those people, then what? Tang San unexpectedly revealed a tiny smile. Then let him to first step over my corpse. Xiao Wu was silent. Tang San also did not speak again, and the red of the setting sun gradually slipped away. By now in the sky above stars already softly emerged. Xiao Wu simply used one word to break the silence between the two. All along holding back tears, as this moment finally fell, Tang San's shaking hands raised Xiao Wu's hands. Thank you, little sister. Father left, but he also had a little sister. Tang San raised his head to gaze at the sky, to the stars in the sky, silently making a lifetime oath. At nightfall, the two children sat on the hilltop, feeling the gentle mountain breeze, looking at the stars and moon in the sky. The tranquil atmosphere and inviting fresh air, without exception, produced a comfortable feeling. Do I have to call you big brother? Xiao Wu turned her head to look towards Tang San at her side. Tang San was dumbfounded. Why? Xiao Wu's face revealed a slight blush. How to say, I am also the boss of Nuoding's students, abruptly having a big brother, how will they see me? Tang San smiled. Well, you still just call me Little San. As long as I in my heart know you are my little sister, what relevance is forms of address? While speaking, Tang San raised his hand, pulling down his sleeve, and removed the sleeve dart on his left wrist. Having become my sister, I without any valuable things, this is a present to you for defending yourself. It is my first work. Xiao Wu curiously looked at the sleeve dart Tang San handed over. What is this? Douluo Dalu Volume 2. Chapter 14. Evil Eye White Tiger Dai Mabai. Part 1. Tang San smiled slightly, saying, I call it a sleeve dart. It's also known as a silent sleeve dart. It only requires using a switch and 3 darts inside will shoot according to your control. It can fire one, and also can fire all 3 at once. Because the noise of launching is very small, it's not easy for the opponent to detect. Therefore, when confronting enemies on par with you, it's able to produce very good effect. Xiao Wu, astonished, said, Before when we exchanged pointers, how come I did not see you using this kind of thing? Tang San smiled calmly, saying, Blockhead, we are fellow students, and also friends. How could I use this kind of deadly weapon? Still remember that time I used stones to hit you. You think that was only coincidence? Look, over there is a mosquito. Xiao Wu followed the direction of Tang San's finger. 3 meters away, sure enough, was a buzzing mosquito flying, and it could with difficulty be seen with the aid of moonlight. If I told you I could hit its left wing, and not kill it, what would you say? Xiao Wu stared at him, saying, Are you joking? Purple light flashed in Tang San's eyes. Abruptly raising his right hand, a faint shadow softly passed, and the mosquito disappeared in thin air. Pulling Xiao Wu's hand, Tang San said, Follow me, pulling her to walk a short distance to stop before a large tree. Not needing Tang San's finger, Xiao Wu also could distinctly see, on the tree trunk was a 3-kun long steel needle, glittering under the illumination of starlight. Nailed by the needle to the tree, something seemingly struggled with all its effort. Xiao Wu lowering her head for a careful look, and could not help but shocked make a strangled sound. Under that needle was nailed that same mosquito, the steel needle piercing the mosquito's left wing, firmly sewing it to the tree, and by that mosquito's thrashing about, obviously without danger to its life. Ho, how did you do this? Xiao Wu, gasping with astonishment, looked towards Tang San. If not because she had all along been together with Tang San, she even would have thought this was prepared in advance. Tang San pulled out the steel needle. When he again opened his hand, the steel needle had already disappeared. This is my secret. I call it hidden weapons. Even Dad doesn't know. I only want to tell you, I have the strength to protect my own little sister. Regarding new things, Xiao Wu was always very interested, excitedly shaking Tang San's hand and saying, Good big brother, can't you teach me that? Tang San said with a wry smile, With your violent tendencies, If you also learned hidden weapons, who knows how many people would suffer disaster. And also hidden weapon cultivation is not an overnight matter. The sleeve dart I gave you is also a kind of hidden weapon, so first grasp using it well. Wanting to study Tang Sect hidden weapons certainly was not easy. First of all, one must have mysterious heaven skill as foundation, and Xiao Wu's spirit power already was not weak. Cultivating mysterious heaven skill anew was clearly impossible. Tang San had already secretly resolved. Afterward he would make some mechanism-type hidden weapons equipment for her body. This should also be considered as sufficient. Tang San personally put on the sleeve dart on Xiao Wu's left arm, properly adjusting the sleeve dart's size, completely fitting to Xiao Wu's wrist. Afterwards he explained once the silent sleeve dart's use method details to Xiao Wu, letting her try it out several times. Xiao Wu was practically immediately in love with this treasure. As Xiao Wu left to one side to try shooting the sleeve dart, Tang San slowly raised his head, watching the stars overhead, saying to himself, "Dad, do you truly fear I would be unable to become strong at your side? You be at ease, I will work hard at cultivation, become a true man. Inevitable one day, I will become your pride. Tang Sect, I already left you for 6 years, but I will always be a Tang Sect person, in this Douluo continent. I definitely will carry on Tang Sect's everything to new heights." A pair of hands like shining white jade suddenly threw out, light like countless threads of silvery light towered up, and in Tang San's eyes already was a purple radiance. 5 years later, Balak Kingdom, located in South Heaven Du Empire, bordering with Fasinuo Province. Speaking of this kingdom, its actual area was only 4/3 of Fasinuo Province, subordinate to Heaven Du Empire. Within the borders of Heaven Du Empire it was one of 4 great kingdoms. Balak's King Kundela was the current Heaven Du Empire's King Aukula's younger cousin. Southern Balak Kingdom bordered directly on Star Luo Empire. Consequently, among Heaven Du Empire's 4 kingdoms, Balak Kingdom's military strength was the most powerful, and it could also be said to be the gateway to Heaven Du Empire. Heaven Du Empire originally had 10 provinces that were later divided among the 4 great kingdoms, forming 6 powers. The empire itself directly controlled 5 provinces, the 4 great kingdoms each controlled 1, and there was still one duchy second only to kingdoms, occupying the smallest province on the empire's eastern side. On the surface, the 4 great kingdoms and 1 duchy must all be subject to Heaven Du Empire's rule, but in fact, these 5 states long ago already became nations within a nation. Besides the necessary tribute, they were all entirely independent. If not for Heaven Du imperial family controlling a large number of troops, perhaps a civil war would long ago already have appeared. Star Luo Empire also had similar circumstances. Consequently, while the 2 empires looked to be strong forces, in fact both were in decline. If someone spoke badly, that day the entire continent's situation would abruptly transform. Within Balak Kingdom were 2 most important cities. One was Balak King Kundela's resident capital Balak City. Here was the heart of the entire Balak Kingdom's politics and industry. And the other city was located at the richest granary within the borders of Balak Kingdom called Suotuo City. These 2 cities both had massive garrisons, and were the entire kingdom's highest priority. Suotuo City was a large city. This bit could be seen from spirit halls allocated as the 3rd-ranked Lord Spirit Hall. Currently just past noon, the blazing sun shining fiercely, at Suotuo City's west gate entered 2 youths. By looks, they both only appear to be 10-some years old, not carrying any luggage, 1 boy and 1 girl. Part 2. The boy's clothing was simple, looking like 12 or 13 years old. About 1.70 m tall, wearing a pale blue fresh attire, very neat. Around his waist a belt inset with 24 pieces of jade, black hair hanging halfway down to his shoulders. Facial features, although not considered handsome, gave people a kind of very easy to get along with feeling. At the corners of his mouth, he continuously wore a slight smile. If saying of the boy looked gentle and ordinary, then, the girl at his side looked not as common. Silky smooth black long hair combed out into a neat scorpion braid. Even though it was a braid, it still hung down to her lower back. Compared to that boy, she must still be a little bit taller, wearing small pink clothes, tightly covering a figure already begun developing, if speaking of chest still said to be inadequately developed. But her slender small waist could cause countless women envy. Tall and slender taut legs wrapped up in trousers, perfect golden ratio proportion. Even though her age appeared not old, her face was still childish, but a perfectly round little buttocks were already somewhat hinted at. The natural shape of curved eyebrows, a pair of bright and intelligent big eyes matching a somewhat round, soft and fair little face, not only pretty, also giving people a somewhat charming feeling, the word lovely seemingly made to measure her. That boy standing at her side was long ago concealed by her intangible radiance. The girl raised her hand, wiping her slightly moist forehead, and somewhat grumbling said, "Finally reached this Suotuo city. I truly don't know how Grandmaster thought. Obviously quite a few intermediate Spirit Master academies expressed they would unconditionally recruit us. Yet he asked you to come take the examination here at that not even separating grades worn-down academy." The boy smiled slightly, saying, "Teacher asked me to come take the examination, but did not ask you to come. Who asked you to insist on following? Fortunately Balak Kingdom borders on Fasinuo region. If not, wouldn't you have to be complaining even more?" The girl stared coldly at the boy, truly without conscience. "Everything is not for your sake. Who asked you to be my big brother? Anyway, the day after tomorrow we can take the examination. No matter what, you must accompany me to play in Suotuo City for these 2 days. Make good the injuries to my young and small heart." The boy couldn't help but laugh and said, "The formidable Nuoding Academy's supreme sister for 6 years in a row still has a young and small heart. Let those younger brothers of yours see that. I do not know whether they would immediately go jump into the river." This boy and girl were exactly Tang San and Xiao Wu from Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy. 5 years' time had passed, and they had long last successfully graduated from Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy. Of course, with their talents, Nuoding Academy intended to recommend they immediately enter Intermediate Spirit Master Academy, even to the extent of having several famous academies issue invitation letters, giving an abundance of places to choose from. But Grandmaster demanded Tang San turn down the invitations and go to this South Suotuo city place known as Shrek Academy to enter for examination. 6 years of instruction regarding Grandmaster, Tang San long ago already respected him like a father, let alone understanding him. What Grandmaster asked him to do this, it was certainly for his good. Therefore, he complied without the slightest hesitation. Over the past 6 years, Tang San and Xiao Wu's relationship long ago became close like blood siblings. If Tang San chose here, then Xiao Wu naturally also followed. When leaving the academy, Grandmaster told Tang San he must go to the imperial capital, then afterward would come find them. The 6 years in Nuoding was to Tang San an extremely rich 6 years, morning classes, afternoon work, evening cultivation, practically without free time. At 12 years old he already no longer resembled that originally frail look. Working in the smithy every day gave him a healthy and strong physique, although looking at him he could not be considered majestic. The body covered by the fresh clothing was full of explosive force muscle. Xiao Wu pouting said, "Regardless, do you promise?" Tang San laughed, saying, "As you want. Only, having traveled so far, aren't you tired? We should first find a place to stay and speak again. Also, it's almost noon, so eat first, right?" Xiao Wu smiling said, "This is just about right." Tang San very rarely went against her words. Ever since the two people established a sibling relationship, he all along took care of her like a big brother. Although he was very busy, the unexpectedly displayed consideration still gave Xiao Wu a pleasurable kind of feeling. Suotuo City compared to Nuoding City must be much bigger, and naturally also must be much livelier. On the street, everywhere could be seen patrolling soldiers. A bustling stream of people were passing by non-stop. The two first simply ate some small things, and afterwards looked for a place to stay. Soon Xiao Wu discovered a very unique hotel. The hotel was 3 floors tall, and although the size could not be considered too large, the exterior adornment was completely rose red. The entire hotel building style was like an enormous rose, very easily able to give people looking at it a certain feeling. Rose Hotel. Little San, we'll stay here. Co Wu pointed. Tang San unnecessarily said, I hear you. Working these several years, adding to the stipend given by Spirit Hall, he by now could be considered as having some savings. Co Wu never cared about amounts of money, spending extravagantly, so in order to not let her overspend, she simply let Tang San hold her income, letting him put it away. Having him control some, she still could save a little. Walking into the Rose Hotel, the first sensation was a smell of rose fragrance, a scent penetrating deeply into the heart and bringing a somewhat hidden warmth feeling, making people's hearts free from worry. The interior decorations of the hotel only had 3 kinds of color: white, silver and rose red, warm and unique, very easily giving people a good feeling. Tang San walked up before the counter. Trouble you to give us 2 rooms. The clerk behind the counter hastily stood up, taking a look at Tang San, again looking at Co Wu, eyes revealing some envious light. Sir, must it truly definitely be 2 rooms? Tang San nodded. Is something wrong? The clerk's eyes showed some uncertainty. I'm sorry, we only have 1 room remaining here. Part 3. 1 room. Tang San frowned. As a 2 lifetimes person, the little time sharing a bed with Co Wu did not feel significant. But after all, by now these two had gradually both gotten grown-up figures. He could still very clearly remember the words about no direct contact between men and women. The clerk said with emphasis, yes, only 1. However, you be at ease, all our rooms are very big, and the facilities have everything one might expect, more than sufficient for staying 2 people. Speaking, he also gave towards Tang San an expression that could only be sensed and not explained in words. Of course, Tang San was unable to make sense of it. Co Wu said with a big grin, that 1 room is fine. When we were at Nuoding, didn't we always stay in the same dormitory? Like this, we can still save a little money to buy beautiful clothes. Tang San couldn't help but shake his head. He was not an obstinate person. At worst he would sleep on the floor. At night would also cultivate. That could be the best sleep. Fine, I'll trouble you to give me this room. Just when the clerk was helping Tang San put in order the formalities, a voice out of nowhere interrupted the clerk's actions. I say, this room should belong to me, right? Tang San and Co Wu simultaneously turned around to look, only to find 3 people appeared behind them, walking over towards the counter. These 3 people were 1 man and 2 women. The 2 girls gorgeously dressed, looking to be 17 or 18 years old, figures tall and slender, compared to Co Wu still must be a bit taller, but what caused the most surprise, their features were unexpectedly exactly alike. They were actually twins. But Tang San's gaze did not fall on those 2 stunning beauties. What attracted his attention was the man walking in the middle. The man was about 1 meter 80 tall, compared to him would be half a head taller, appearing not old, even to the extent that he must be a bit younger than the 2 young women behind him, broad shoulders, features handsome and somewhat resolute, a head of long golden hair unrolling behind him, falling down nearly to his waist. His hair did not curl, and hung straight down. Most eye-catching were his eyes. Those were a pair of evil eyes. Both eyes unexpectedly had twin pupils. Within the deep blue eyes was a very cold gaze, a kind of icy cold evolving from the depths of the heart, an evil light glimmering between half-open eyelids. Under his gaze, the whole body felt like cut by a sharp sword. With extremely handsome features matching this kind of pair of eyes, this kind of man, regardless of where, would be a focus of people's attention. He was very powerful. This was Tang San's first thought after seeing this person. The twin young women held the arms of that twin pupil man. He also took no notice of Tang San. His gaze, after sweeping across Co Wu's body, flashed out a trace of astonished light, but this was only a passing glimmer, nothing more. Walking up before the counter, looking at the clerk, the youth said, "You are newly arrived, right? Unaware to nevertheless leave 1 room here for me." The clerk was stunned a moment, and probingly asked, You are. The twin pupil man somewhat impatiently said, Call out your manager. The clerk, under the twin pupil man's gaze, heart felt a peal of cold, hurriedly went in back to call his superior. Tang San coolly said, Elder brother, seems we were here first. The twin pupil man did not even turn his head, only coldly said, So what? He habitually did not face people explaining. Tang San's temperament was considered mild, but Xiao Wu could not that well be bullied. In a flash she already came to Tang San's side. No how, so you scram. The twin pupil man finally turned, ice-cold evil gaze falling on Xiao Wu, nodding, Very good. For a very long time there was nobody who dared speak like this to me. Your bodies also have spirit power fluctuations, should be spirit masters. Then you together, if strike me I will immediately leave, otherwise, you please demonstrate at once this scramming. Hearing the words of the twin pupil man, the twin young women at his side couldn't help but have silly smiles, appearing to have not a bit of worry, cutely letting go of the twin pupil man's arms, retreating to one side. Just at this time, that previous clerk already brought out a middle-aged man from the back. He had obviously heard the twin pupil man's dialogue with Tang San and Xiao Wu, face wearing an anxious expression, Let me speak, by no means fight. The twin pupil man gave him an oblique look. Manager Wang, you are currently more willing to do business, Manager Wang wiped the sweat on his head, with a smile said, Young Master Dai, by all means do not say so. It's all a no-good subordinate. This kid just came yesterday, unaware of the rules. Please excuse me. I will immediately arrange a room for you. Speaking, he turned his head towards Tang San and Xiao Wu, his whole face apologetic, saying, I beg your pardon, 2 visitors. That room was booked by young Master Dai, please choose another store. If it was according to Tang San's temper, he would let it be. With so many hotels, he did not care about changing stores. But Xiao Wu's temperament was motivated by a desire to see the world in chaos and would not so easily compromise. We will not yield, so what? Bloody snobby creatures. Do not think we will be bullied because we're young. Young Master Dai snorted coldly, Even if you wanted to yield it is also not so easy, cursing me, wanting to leave can't happen. Young Master Dai, you. Manager Wang was greatly anxious, face had a pleading expression. Young Master Dai's eyes held a fierce light, less nonsense. Consider all damages on me. Used to being regarded as Nuoding Academy's big sister leader, Xiao Wu, seeing the other side with this kind of arrogant expression, was immediately about to rush out and hit. Tang San caught Xiao Wu's shoulder, leave it to me. Xiao Wu discontentedly said, Why? I will do it myself. I will hit him so his even mom doesn't recognize him. Tang San wrinkled his brow, saying, As a girl, your language should be a bit neater. Did you forget what I said before? I will always protect you. This is a matter between men. He did not let Xiao Wu go fight, first because he felt the other side was formidable, fearing Xiao Wu would come to harm. Second, if they really lost, he would rather be humiliated himself, could not let Xiao Wu be humiliated by the other side. Part 4. Hearing the words, I will always protect you, Xiao Wu's indignant expression relaxed. Looking at Tang San she said, Then you be careful. No need to argue, I said, you two together. Young Master Dai said impatiently. Tang San, free from conceit and arrogance, took 2 steps forward, kindly advise me. Young Master Dai, with an evil light in his eyes, right fist suddenly lifted, accompanying a frontal rush, going straight for a strike at Tang San's chest. His movements were very simple, without any flourishes, but Tang San's expression changed. Because the opponent's fist's momentum in a flash already reached the peak effect of physical force and speed. Without plentiful combat experience, how could this bit also be possible? This time Tang San could in no way retreat. The opponent's momentum could thereupon suddenly rise, so only would cause this fist's power to further increase. Therefore, he not only did not retreat, on the contrary moved forward. Right foot in a flash advancing a step. This step cut across as much as 3 meters, immediately drawing close to his opponent. Tang San's goal was very simple. He must disrupt the opponent's offensive rhythm. Similarly, wielding his right fist, Tang San's hand in an eye blink became smooth and milky white like jade. With a muffled peng sound, young Master Dai's forward rushing body came to a sudden stop, but Tang San, uncontrolled ly, had to withdraw 4 or 5 steps backward to be able to come to a stop. Young Master Dai's eyes revealed an astonished light. He clearly had not thought this before him, that looked like compared to him still must be several years younger junior would be able to stop his fist. Making young Master Dai most astonished was Tang San's fist. In attack power, he clearly held the advantage, but currently his right hand ached to the point of splitting apart. Tang San's fist seemed to be as hard as copper molded on cast iron. Would Tang San not also be astonished? One must know, his fist not only included mysterious heaven skill, internal strength, but his physical power in itself also did not in any way match his age. Working as a blacksmith for years made his physical strength far above the average person. Adding on to mysterious jade hand's properties, 3 great advantages mixing, and he still lost. The opponent's physical power was very strong, but not that kind of fierce strength, rather a condensed strength, as if all the physical power he possessed was condensed into the size of a fist, in a flash erupting in a shocking force that already caused the qi and blood in Tang San's body to roil. Good, able to receive my fist, you have the qualifications to be my opponent. Young Master Dai coldly shouted, body again put into action. This time, his attack was not so simple. His entire person flew forward, instantly already reaching Tang San, 4 limbs bizarrely spreading open, looking like the whole body up and down was full of openings, but his 4 limbs all moved slightly, seemingly having boundless later moves. Tang San's expression already became extremely imposing, both knees slightly bent, toes simultaneously buckling in, left arm from outside circling in, right arm from inside pushing out, adopting a very peculiar posture. This strike of young Master Dai's could be said to be the unique skill that made his name. Regardless of how the opponent tried to resist the attack, he had many methods to respond. Within the seemingly full of openings movements was contained a profound attack technique. All 4 limbs could turn into weapons. But when his attack was ready to unfold, unexpectedly, an intangible force came through from underneath. That power seemed very tenacious, without any powerful force of impact, but pure toughness. Young Master Dai was in midair with nowhere to borrow force, so only felt his body to his surprise forcibly brought to deviate from his original course by that force. Falling to one side, his attack naturally lost its aim. What was this force? The amazed thought flashed past in young Master Dai's mind. But his fighting experience was extremely abundant. With a tiger waist twist in midair, body revolving sideways all the way around, he firmly landed on the ground. But at this time, Tang San's attack started. He chose just the right moment, exactly in the moment young Master Dai's legs touched down, which was also when it was the most difficult to issue strength. Using Ghost Shadow perplexing track, looking like 3 disjointed steps, Tang San already reached young Master Dai's side, both palms simultaneously clapping out, moving towards young Master Dai's both shoulders. In young Master Dai's eyes flashed an evil light, the 4 pupils seemingly simultaneously glittering at once. With an exhaling sound, both shoulders shrugging back, both fists then striking out, simultaneously lifting and striking towards Tang San's elbows. Unyielding fist strength in midair repeatedly issuing audible cracks, one could see these 2 fists contained great physical strength. At the same time as both fists struck, young Master Dai's right leg shot up in a flash. Under these close-range circumstances, he unexpectedly kicked directly at Tang San's chin. One could see how good his flexibility was. Whether his pair of fists or right leg had any one attack hit, as he exceeded Tang San's attack strength, he would immediately make Tang San lose fighting strength. But could Tang San let him have his wish? Don't forget, this could be Tang San's specialty. The palms pushing down towards young Master Dai's both shoulders lost their aim along with the other side withdrawing his shoulders, but Tang San's hands did not withdraw, only simultaneously swiped downwards. In the wiped area, the tough hidden force young Master Dai felt before appeared once again, and his upper arms were at once driven out to two sides. Both fists exploding out also glanced off Tang San's arms to the side, unable to hit their goal. At the same time as wiping with both hands, Tang San's left leg in a flash stepped ahead one step, body inclining to one side, shoulder striking straight at young Master Dai's chest. He in this way sideways, also at the right moment let young Master Dai kick up that leg. Everything seemed to be calculated well. Right now, young Master Dai's leg, already without space to dodge, also experienced the other side's attack with both hands erasing physical force, and immediately was at a disadvantage. With a muffled peng sound, Tang San's shoulders abruptly rammed young Master Dai's chest. As the spectating twin young women cried out in alarm, young Master Dai's body in a flash flew back, facing upwards, issuing a backward somersault movement, flying out no less than 5 meters before falling down. Tang San, without following up, calmly looked at young Master Dai fallen on the ground. From coming into contact with the other party's chest he knew, he certainly did not hold much of an advantage. Part 5. The moment he was struck, young Master Dai's chest muscles abruptly became hard as iron, although because of the advantage young Master Dai was thrown, from that hard meeting hard his own shoulder also had a burning ache. Young Master Dai's expression was somewhat embarrassed. He had no choice but to admit that just now he took the enemy lightly. This juvenile looking like compared to him still must be several years younger before him. Actual power was much greater than what he imagined. Still want to go on? Tang San calmly asked. Young Master Dai's evil eyes rose. Of course. Very good. You can force me to use spirit power. This competition is already my loss. However, properly measuring strength against you a few times, how can I not be willing? Regardless of the results of competition, afterwards today I give this room to you. Young Master Dai's evil eyes revealed not anger and hate, but a kind of peculiar light. If insisting on using words to explain it, the 4 words, thrill of the hunt, was perhaps the most suitable. His current expression was like seeing a beautiful woman, shoulders quivering minutely, both arms lifting. Tang San's eyes were also gradually brightening. He realized, young Master Dai in front of him was alike. If before calling him ice-coldly disdainful, then, the current him was all over filled with fiery battle anticipation. White tiger, body enhancement. A layer of intense pale light abruptly erupted out from all over his body. Young Master Dai's both arms simultaneously spread to either side, throwing out his chest, the entire body's skeleton making a cracking sound, muscles abruptly swelling, filling out the clothes to the point of bursting. Every muscle under the clothes became exceedingly distinct. Even the atmosphere at his side seemed to already become irritable. The full head of blonde hair in an eye blink changed to alternating black and white, white constituting the majority, in its several black locks especially clear. On his forehead appeared 4 faint lines, 3 horizontal and 1 vertical, just right to form the character for king. His hands changed the most, to no less than twice the size compared to before changing. White fur covered the entire back of the hand, shooting from the 10 fingers short dagger-like talons continuously stretched out and withdrew from within the hand. Each talon was like the edge of a knife, length no less than 8 kun. Glimmering with a dim dazzling gleam, young Master Dai's body slowly bent over, 4 pupils all becoming thoroughly deep blue, giving people a feeling like of a killing machine. Under his feet, 3 glittering rings of light rose up in succession, quietly ascending, 2 yellow and 1 purple, spirit rings moving around, surging spirit power forming like waves and blowing out. 1,000-year spirit ring. Xiao Wu cried out in alarm, expression immediately somewhat flustered, wanting to advance to fight shoulder to shoulder with Tang San, but stopped by Tang San. Among spirit rings, white represented 10-year, yellow represented 100-year, purple represented 1,000-year. This youth before them called young Master Dai, actually already possessed a 3rd spirit ring, and also among them still had what was a 1,000-year existence. One must know, Looking on the surface, his age compared to Tang San and Xiao Wu was merely 3 or 4 years older, that's all. 3 spirit rings meant that young Master Dai's rank had at least reached 30, also to say, he was a spirit elder, and was a battle spirit elder possessing a powerful beast spirit. Dai Mabai, spirit, White Tiger, 37th ranked battle spirit elder. Kindly advise me. Among the domineering power, Dai Mabai announced his spirit and rank. This represented a desire for a formal challenge. Before the tremendous pressure, Tang San also started becoming different. The violent impulses hidden deep in his heart gradually emerged, eyes covered by a layer of faint purple, slowly raising his right hand. Deep blue light suddenly surged out. A cluster of deep blue grass abruptly grew from his palm, each blade of grass very tenuous, but on the surface covered with serpent lines. The blades of grass no longer had the previous flat shape, but became cylindrical, and if watching carefully, one was able to clearly see on these blades of grass were covered with fine little thorns. Milky white light rose up from all over Tang San's body, and as if those deep blue blades of grass received some stimulation abruptly enlarged. In the blink of an eye already became as thick as a person's arm, just like rattan. The black snake lines glimmered with faint light, moving quickly like 10 big snakes spiraling around Tang San's body. 2 yellow spirit rings simultaneously rose up from under Tang San's feet, orbiting his body. Tang San, spirit, blue silver grass, 29th ranked tool spirit grandmaster. Kindly advise me. Dai Mabai's eyebrows that like his hair had turned white rose at once. Your spirit is only blue silver grass. Tang San spoke grandmaster's original words. There are no good-for-nothing spirits, only good-for-nothing spirit masters. Since Tang San entered Nuoding Primary Spirit Master Academy, Dai Mabai was the second powerful spirit he encountered. Only originally the Nuoding Academy Dean, under Grandmaster's invitation at the time helping him together obtain the second spirit ring revealing the actual strength of a 42nd rank tool spirit ancestor. But that Dean's age long ago already exceeded 50, and Dai Mabai before him probably was 16 or 17 years old, that's all. No wonder his relying on physical strength and internal strength, adding to mysterious jade hand when first colliding with him fell short. This was the absolute gap of physical strength. This person before him could be said to be the most formidable opponent Tang San had encountered. Tang San was very clear on the large difference of 1 spirit ring, especially when the opponent's 3rd spirit ring was 1,000-year level. Whether added property and ability, it was all not something his 2 rings could match. This fight, Tang San was without any certainty. Perhaps, let him put to use his most secret ability, he could then have the power to contend. Well spoken. There are no good-for-nothing spirits, only good-for-nothing spirit masters. I have been instructed. This blue-silver grass spirit of yours is so peculiar. Dai Mabai moved. After spirit body enhancement, he seemingly completely became another person. White hair just now fluttered up. Is that body brimming with explosive power already reached in front of Tang San? Both hands' 10 fingers talons simultaneously emerged, raking towards Tang San's body. Part 6. Tang San practically without hesitation retreated lightning quick, using Ghost Shadow perplexing track, dodging Dai Mabai's attack by a hair's breadth, and simultaneously, his released blue-silver grass spirit also very quickly moved up, a circle of blue and black thick vines spiraling out, from all directions surging towards Dai Mabai's body. But Tang San himself, like he was hidden among the vines, quietly disappeared. In Dai Mabai's evil eye light flashed continuously, entire body covered by surging spirit power, both hands dancing beneath, the vines rushing to his side one by one cut open. He originally intended to directly cut off these blue-silver grass-thick vines, but he realized with a shock, these vines were unexpectedly extremely tough. With his added 37 ranked spirit power's tiger claws when swinging at the vines, he could only cut halfway through, and was unable to completely cut free. But in a very short time of the vines leaving the tiger claw's range, it could very quickly heal itself. A faint sweet tea fragrance spread among the vines. These vines were seemingly inexhaustible, unceasingly welling out from all directions. Even though Dai Mabai's strength and speed both were substantially increased under the effect of the spirit, he still could not rush out of the range of the vines. This was blue-silver grass. Dai Mabai was greatly astounded. He had never thought that blue-silver could be this fierce. The opponent compared to him had one less spirit ring, yet blue-silver grass was able to temporarily tangle him. If their spirit rings were equal, then this fight's victor would be very hard to tell. Dai Mabai never was a patient person, and his love to outshine others was particularly powerful. His intense gaze abruptly shone. Dai Mabai's evil eyes suddenly became white. Among the 3 spirit rings over his body, the first spirit ring abruptly radiated greatly, taking the form of a white light cover, blocking the vines around him so they were unable to approach his body. Immediately following, the second spirit ring on his body also shone. A huge white light in a flash condensed, accompanying Dai Mabai a tiger roar, and a milky white ball of light shot out of his mouth. The abilities which Dai Mabai's first 2 spirit rings added were separately White Tiger Shield Body Barrier as well as White Tiger Intense Light Wave, right now launched simultaneously, instantly unfolding their terrible might. Looking from outside, Dai Mabai's body was already surrounded by the enormous vines, but just when Xiao Wu slightly relaxed her breath, suddenly, countless white light from in the crevices of the vines abruptly shot out. Immediately following, a dull roar abruptly exploded. The blue-silver grass-forming vines scattered broken in all directions. A formidable shockwave swept across the Rose Hotel hall in complete disorder. The spirit was one with the host. Tang San's expression instantly paled, retreating a step to be able to stand steady. The white light gradually disappeared, revealing Dai Mabai's majestic figure. Tattered blue-silver grass also began to condense again by Tang San's side, but the quantity compared to before was already a lot less. Tang San, beast spirits' attack strength will always be more powerful compared to tool spirits. Although the power of your blue-silver grass surprised me, in the end it still is unable to pin me down. Tang San smiled weakly, saying, "That is certain." Suddenly, on Tang San's body the second spirit ring abruptly shone. Dai Mabai's body abruptly stiffened at once. A layer of fine vines that had appeared on his body at some unknown time, following Tang San's second spirit ring's great release of light, in a flash grew, firmly binding Dai Mabai's body therein. The piercing thorns on the vines, although only very short, continuously tightened down, bringing Dai Mabai's whole body severe pain. At the same time, he realized his body unexpectedly began to go numb. Long ago, when Tang San still had not reached the 20th rank, Grandmaster already thought well on from what kind of spirit beast his second spirit ring must be hunted. Tang San's second spirit ring was from a kind of plant system spirit beast called Ghost Vine. The second spirit ring's highest assimilation spirit ring age was 764 years. This Ghost Vine spirit ring Tang San's obtained, at least surpassed 600 years cultivation. Ghost Vine was a kind of exceedingly horrifying plant system spirit beast. It had extremely powerful nerve poison. One need only be stung by on its piercing thorns, and poison would immediately circulate, until dissolving into pus water, becoming the Ghost Vine's fertilizer. And also, what spirit masters feared the most, was the Ghost Vine's parasitic ability. When it attacked, it would by its own accord send out countless minute seeds, directly attached to the victim's body. Ghost Vine alone provided enough capabilities, or else as these seeds absorbed sufficient nutrients, they would grow on the parasite host's body, and as nerve poison spread in a short while, the effect would be the same. Obtaining this more than 600-year Ghost Vine spirit ring, even if it was Nuoding Academy's dean, that 42nd rank tool spirit ancestor, also took a lot of trouble, relying on himself rather than mutually restraining spirit, could not easily subdue it, letting Tang San accomplish the final killing strike. After obtaining the Ghost Vine's spirit ring, Tang San's own properties substantially elevated on all sides. Blue spirit grass became even tougher, and also turned similar to Ghost Vine's outward appearance, only the color and veined pattern maintained its original appearance. And its poison also became nerve paralyzing. its effect greatly increased. Even if it was in the air, the volatile smell could also give rise to a certain effect. And the ability the Ghost Vine's spirit ring gave Tang San was parasite. By infusing spirit power, Ghost Vine's parasite ability activated effect still must surpass the original Ghost Vine itself. Under spirit power infusion, parasite seeds would grow in an instant, being unable to guard against. Could be said to be an extremely insidious control ability. Both blue-silver grass toughness, from that 37th rank Dai Mabai with white tiger blade was unable to completely cut apart could be seen. He in the end was still underestimating Tang San, underestimating blue-silver grass, therefore at the end of the road. Seeing a Dai Mabai with an astonished light in his eyes, Tang San said, "My blue-silver grass is poisonous. Before you should already have inhaled some, also launching emitting powerful spirit power attack abilities to cut open my blue-silver grass binding, was sure to cause your internal blood and ki to circulate faster, causing the poison to take effect even faster. Like this, although you yourself did not feel anything. In fact, the surface of the skin already began to become somewhat numb, unable to discover the blue-silver grass parasite seeds. Therefore, you lose." Dai Mabai looked at Tang San. Right now, other than his head, his entire body was already wrapped under blue-silver grass. In his evil eyes an ominous glint continuously sparkling. "Good, what a blue-silver grass. If I same as you only had 2 spirit rings, then I really would have lost. As my body is already numb, it's very difficult to struggle free from the blue-silver grass. But, after all, compared to you, I have 1 more spirit ring. I will still let you have a look at my 3rd spirit ring ability." The purple ring of light flashed a light in an eye blink. Around Dai Mabai's body the air became distorted, his evil eye suddenly turning blood red. Immediately following, the blue-silver grass binding his body suddenly expanded, and with a loud bang, all the blue-silver grass binding him, consisting of parasite blue-silver grass seeds, completely burst into broken bits. Dai Mabai's body unexpectedly appeared to have changed a second time. Tang San inhaled a cold breath. Is this a 1000-year spirit ring ability?